see if you finish the drill strong and see how mentally tough you are.
Do you think that's why they had the varsity logo?
I actually didn't know what that was. That might be a good reason for it. I was thinking, what is that? I didn't know if that was a shot clock going off, and then it kept going.
Permanent shot clock, but
I wasn't sure though. But they could throw anything in these workouts just to try to throw you off a little bit.
Did you think that mentally the 6 overtime game that you played against UConn was a good preparation for some of these events that you were saying for some mental toughness?
Well, definitely. You playing the game that long, all you do is mentally tough. You have to psych yourself out in any way, shape, or form. Just to finish the game. And I think you can apply that to workouts like this and any other NBA workouts. You start feeling fatigue, and just to get you over that hump, just to mind psych yourself.
Talk a little bit about the draft process. I know right after you finished, you were saying you were going to go back to school, sort of unfinished business. And what sort of changed your mind? Talk a little bit about that.
It was a tough process. Towards the end of the season, when I was asked that question, I was really set on coming back to school. Seeing Syracuse as a top 5 team of our return and whatnot. That means a lot to me. It means a lot to be a good college team, especially seeing North Carolina come bring everybody back and win a national championship. That was definitely on my mind. But I think after the hype went down from the season, I really got to sit back and look at things. I think this was the right time for me to try the NBA draft.
Did you think about just the way the NBA game's being played now? You see a lot of smaller, dominant guards that are able to finish at the rim. Your style of play in college, does that factor into it at all?
I think so. You have to look at everything like that. You look at, just like you said, the smaller guys. You had Aaron Brooks dominating the playoffs this year. You have Chris Paul dominating the NBA. So I think the main thing is, when you're hot and you're buzzing, you have to go. And I think in my case, that was the best decision.
The draft seems to be full of not only point guards like yourself, but combo guards as well. Do you think, especially in this part of the draft, a bit before, a bit after, does that encourage you? Do you think that helps you, the number of similar players to yourself that are drafted around this part?
Well, I think you just have to look at yourself. There's a lot of this point guard draft is probably one of the deepest drafts of any position. There's about 9 point guards that possibly could go in the first round. But I think you have to just look in the mirror and just look at yourself. When you start thinking about what players may go ahead of you or what players are doing what, that's when you can get knocked off track. So I try to just really stay to myself and just think about what I can do to become a good player.
Would you like the chance to go up against Drew?
Well, definitely. Going against a player like that who's 6'3", 6'4", right in the same area as mine, strong player, plays defense and things like that, you could really test your game. He's a great player. You couldn't see a lot of that at UCLA because he was off the ball a lot. But, I think that's one thing about the NBA game. It's more open and you can see some of his natural ability.
You weren't worried about the competition? Like, it comes here and blows your way, it hurts you, right?
That's basketball. That's what you live for. A guy like me, a competitor, I live for that. I live for going against the best players. I live for, if I get beat, hopefully I see him somewhere else, which I will, and things like that. But that's the nature of the game. If you can't get hyped up to play against the best, you shouldn't be playing.
You also be gone up against so far.
Well, actually, this was just my second workout. I had one in Chicago. I went against Darren Collison, Patty Mills, Patrick Beverly, and Tony Douglas. So it was a good workout. It went really well. But I think this is a good one just for myself going against a guy like Chicago.
Do you feel like you're getting some momentum in this process? Like you're kind of...
I think so. Just to get some workouts under my feet. Playing against a guy like Drew Holiday, getting ready for the upcoming players that I'm going to play against. It's just a long grind. It's something you have to really prepare yourself for and be mentally strong for. So I think just getting more workouts under my feet and getting adapted to how these things go, talking to the media afterwards, talking to GMs, things like that, it's going to help me out.
When you look at the Raptors, do you say this is an area where I can see myself in terms of fit? Do you look at that in terms of the teams you go work out for?
Oh, definitely. Toronto is a perfect fit for me. You got guys on the wings, there's Sean Marion, you got Brian Yanni, you got Chris Bosh, you got Kelly Malone, a great point guard that I can learn things from, and an offense that really wants to get up and down the floor. Toronto being right over the border from where I'm at, Niagara Falls, I'm basically a Canadian, so it'd be nice to come here where my family can be close and see me playing. My family and friends can come here.
Were you a fan growing up of this team, or did you follow the Knicks or something?
I mostly followed the Knicks. I like the Raptors when they had Damon Stoudemire and Marcus Camby. That's a long time, 96, something like that. But I'm basically a Knicks fan.